Imagine standing on a global stage, ready to crack jokes for thousands, only to face a barrage of online backlash, accusing you of supporting a regime with a questionable human rights record. That's the fiery debate swirling around comedians who performed at Saudi Arabia's Riyadh Comedy Festival. And comedian Whitney Cummings is firing back with a provocative claim. It's all just racism in disguise. But here's where it gets controversial. Cummings isn't backing down. On her popular Good For You podcast, she addressed the outcry head-on, shrugging off the criticism as misguided and prejudiced. She explained that she doesn't buy into the notion that every citizen of a country mirrors their government's policies. Think about it. Do you really believe that all Americans share every view of their leaders, or that every Chinese person agrees with their government's decisions? Cummings argues that lumping entire populations together based on their nationality is a form of racism, plain and simple. It took her a moment to realize, she said, because when people label her actions as unethical, it sounds like they're coming from a place of moral high ground. But upon closer inspection, it's often just bias. And she points out the hypocrisy. These same critics might shout, "Trump's not my president," when disagreeing with U.S. policies, yet they expect Saudis to be judged en masse by their government's actions. This is the part most people miss. Cummings isn't alone in defending her choice. She's part of a growing chorus of comedians who've stood firm on performing at the festival. Take the Aziz Ansari, for example. He clashed with Jimmy Kimmel on his show, acknowledging the festival's complexities, but insisting he wanted to go anyway. He emphasized that not all Saudis endorse their government's stances, and it's unfair to paint an entire nation with the brush of its leaders' worst behaviors. Meanwhile, Bill Burr jumped into the fray on Conan O'Brien's podcast, calling the outrage fake news fueled by bots, not genuine concern. On the flip side, not everyone's on board. Jessica Kirson issued an apology for her appearance, while Louis C.K. doubled down, calling it a valuable opportunity. Dave Chappelle even used his set to declare that free speech feels freer in Riyadh than in America, a bold statement that surely ruffles feathers. And comedians like Mark Maron, Shane Gillis, and Zach Woods have publicly criticized those who participated, arguing against lending talent to such events. What do you think? Is Cummings right to call it racism, or are the critics justified in boycotting for ethical reasons? Could performing in controversial places actually spark positive change, or does it just normalize oppression? Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with Cummings, or do you side with the protesters? Let's debate this hot topic.